Where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome to the stream, everyone. And we've got a lot to cover. We're going to get started in just a moment or two. And a lot has happened. There's always a lot happening, isn't there, with Trump back in the White House? No doubt about it. In fact, I got to tell you, this is probably one of the busiest news times that I can ever remember having. It just is. I mean, it's just that much news going on. And I will be taking calls. I'm setting up the stream, and then we'll get going. I'm putting a link in the description to the main stream. So in this stream here, where you see the green behind me, you can obviously see and hear me. You'll be able to hear the callers. But if you want to see and hear the audio sound bites I play, the articles I show and all that, you're going to want to go to the main stream. It's linked in the description. Let me just do a little check here. All right. Yeah, and the call-in number is pinned in the chat, too. Let me just do... Okay, I'm going to start the main stream now. Okay, I'm going to start the main stream now, but like I said, if you want to see the audio and video that I play, the articles I show and everything, you want to go to that main stream. It is linked in the description. Okay, stand by. Here we go. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome. Okay, you know, Kash Patel, I want to read this headline. Kash Patel clarifies why there were hundreds of FBI agents on the Hill on January 6th. Now, it came out, now we have known for a long time that there were undercover FBI agents in the crowd, huge numbers, by the hundreds on January 6th. And then at the end of the week last week, we got a number. It was 274. There were 274 agents in the crowd. And the president posted on True Social this. By the way, you're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. Make sure you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're tuned in on. And if you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, go to my main stream. It's linked in the description of that video, and you can see and hear all the audio I play and see everything that I'm showing. Okay, so this story came out at the end of last week. Officially, there were 274 FBI agents in the crowd on January 6th. The president posted this on True Social when that came out. It was just revealed that the FBI had secretly placed, against all rules, regulations, protocols, and standards, 274 FBI agents into the crowd just prior to and during the January 6th hoax, meaning it wasn't an insurrection. This is different from what Director Christopher Wray stated over and over again. That's right. As it now turns out, FBI agents were at and in the January 6th protest. Now, this is the president who posted this to True Social, okay, probably acting as agitators and insurrectionists, but certainly not as law enforcement officials. I want to know who each and every one of these so-called agents are and what they were up to. What they were up to on that now historic day. Many great American patriots were made to pay a very big price only for the love of their country. I owe this investigation of dirty cops and crooked politicians to them. Christopher Wray, the then director of the FBI, has some major explaining to do. That's 2 in a row, Comey and Wray, who got caught lying with our great country at stake. We can never let this happen to America again. So that is the president's post on True Social. All right, as a response to the revelation there were 274 FBI agents. So then Kash Patel comes in. And, listen, Kash Patel has been incredibly frustrating, right? He and Dan Bongino have done jack. We got this indictment of Comey. It had nothing to do with Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, or Pam Bondi. President Trump brought in a new acting United States attorney, Lindsay, and she did it in a couple of days. So, they may be trying to take credit for the Comey indictment, but it was President Trump's responsible for the Comey indictment. So this is in town hall, but this is being reported elsewhere. And I do want to hear your thoughts on this. This is, I'm going to go through the details of what Kash Patel said, which is disgusting to me. And I want to hear your thoughts. The number is toll free. If you're watching live, if you're catching the podcast live on YouTube, the number is pinned in the live chat. It is toll free no matter where you're tuned in from. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Okay, so here's Kash Patel's response. Now remember, the president just said agitators, insurrectionists, that's what they were doing, these FBI agents. Kash Patel, this is the headline, Kash Patel clarifies why there were hundreds of FBI agents on the Hill on January 6th. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has been cagey regarding its activities on January 6th. The allegations that undercover operatives were embedded in the crowd during the riot isn't tin-foil hat material. I mean, this is something we've known for years. We just got the official count of 274. The Inspector General tried to deny it, but there was no spinning this. The FBI had agents on the ground, some of whom entered the Capitol building. Now we've learned there were hundreds of agents on the ground that week, around 275. FBI Director Kash Patel had to clarify what the FBI was doing over the weekend, and former FBI Director Chris Wray might be hauled before Congress again. Mr. Patel said the agents were dispatched for crowd control. Really? I mean, this is also being reported on Fox News. This is from Fox News. The FBI responded on Saturday to a report that 274 plainclothes agents were at the U.S. Capitol riot on January 6, 2021, clarifying the role of Bureau personnel while still blasting former Director Christopher Wray. While the agents were on hand, now this is what Kash Patel told Fox, okay? I'm reading, this article is in Town Hall. This portion is originally from Fox News, and I'm reading what Kash Patel, this line of garbage that Kash Patel told Fox News. While the agents were on hand, they were sent in after the riot had begun to try to control the unruly crowd, officials told Fox News Digital. Does anyone believe this? When have you ever heard of the FBI being sent in for crowd control? And they were sent in after the event? Do you believe that? While the agents were on hand, this is from Fox, they were sent in after the riot had begun to try to control the unruly crowd, officials told Fox News. That is not the proper role of FBI agents, and Wray was not forthcoming about what happened when he testified numerous times on Capitol Hill, Director Kash Patel said. Trump must be pissed, because he posted that. I read his True Social post, and then Kash Patel comes out with this. I'll finish what he said, then I'll tell you my thoughts on it. Agents were sent into this is Kash Patel. This is a quote of Kash Patel. Kash Patel said this, quote, to Fox. Agents were sent into a crowd control mission. I have never heard of the FBI being sent into a crowd control mission before. But anyway, agents were sent into a crowd control mission after the riot was declared by Metro Police, something that goes against FBI standards, Kash Patel told Fox. This was the failure of a corrupt leadership that lied to Congress and to the American people about what really happened. Kash Patel added, thanks to agents coming forward, we are now uncovering the truth. We are fully committed to transparency and justice, and accountability continues with the FBI. Okay. Kash Patel is so full of it. I mean, come on. It would not surprise me that the internal records at the FBI, that even may be classified, may show that they sent FBI agents in for crowd control. But if they have records that show that, it is complete BS. Who would use the FBI agents as crowd control? And exactly, they're plain clothes. How would they even identify themselves? No, what the president wants, he wants them identified so they can be found in the surveillance video and photographs. And see if any of them are wearing MAGA gear. I want to know what all their activities were that day. Those gallows that were put up in front of the Capitol building and the Washington Mall? How the heck would you be able to pull up and assemble a gallows in front of Capitol Hill without being stopped by the Capitol Police or other police in the area? The only way you could do that is if you were some deep state operative or a Fed. Okay? Bunch of guys, you wouldn't be able to show up in a pickup truck with your buddies and do something like that. It would be impossible. How'd that get done? Who built that? So what game is Kash Patel playing here? Is he compromised? Is he afraid? Is he stupid and believes this line of crap? Let me know what you think. 1-888-465-2631. 1-888-465-2631. If you're watching live on YouTube, the number's pinned in the live chat. And of course, this is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, why does the MAGA crowd always say that Trump is like, hey, he can do no wrong decision? Then when he picks someone for his cabinet, they always quit. And then the MAGA crowd always says, oh, they were never any good anyway, right?
Oh, you asked an interesting question. Here in his second term, who in the cabinet is left? You said they always leave. Who's left?
Oh, yeah. Well, first term, he only had 3
We're in the second term now. That's like a decade ago. That's like 10 years ago, dumbass. We're talking about today. We're talking about today. Now we're talking about today, not 10 years ago. Who in his cabinet in this second term is left?
I don't know. You
don't know? Okay, well then maybe you should know before you say things. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, my name is Beware Mouse, and I'm calling from Colorado here. And I want to thank you for bringing this up because I...
All right, hold on one second. Let me answer all these lines. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
After the fact.
What's that?
Writing reports after the fact, altering the truth.
Yeah.
I think that the Charlie Kirk thing is going to actually route it because it's not a complex thing, and they messed up the forensics. It wasn't from Stage Center, and the FBI is still trying to hold on to that.
All due respect, we're not talking about Charlie Kirk right now. We're talking about this story with Kash Patel.
I understand. What we're talking about is the FBI and the fact that from the very lowest that argued about the Charlie Kirk, and I'm speaking again of the FBI, that argued about, the forensic and stuff like that with the local police and the FBI.
Well, I don't know. You're a little ahead of that. We don't, listen, this, I want to focus in on this and not, excuse me, hold on a second. I want to focus in on this, okay? I don't want to be talking about everything right now all at once. I would not be surprised at all if the official records of the FBI show they were there for crowd control as part of a cover-up and they were written after the fact. But, Kash Patel's not stupid, right? He's not a stupid person. He knows this story that the 274 FBI agents on January 6th were not there for crowd control. He's not stupid.
Oh, yeah.
So why did he immediately go to Fox News and report this that is obviously a lie? Is he afraid? Is he compromised?
No,
What's the deal?
He's repeating what the report says.
Well, why would he do that?
He's repeating what the report says.
Why would he do that?
Well, that's a total mystery to me, too, because it'd be easier in order to, dislodge that report.
He's either afraid or compromised.
I wonder if putting Kash Patel in this position was nothing more than a trap in order to be able to rout the FBI and to spam the FBI. And it really doesn't perform any function.
He's not trapped anyone. We got this indictment of Comey. This indictment of Comey was not because of Kash Patel, Bongino, or Pam Bondi. President Trump got this indictment when he appointed this Lindsay girl to be the acting United States attorney. So, the team at the Justice Department, they've given us zero, nothing. And this is just absurd.
Well, there's a cell within the FBI that has all these interests because they're paid by foreign interests in order to do what they're doing.
Well, so what's Kash Patel's motivation?
That goes from 9/11.
Well,
that goes with Ferguson.
I appreciate the call. I don't want to go through everything that's ever happened. I mean, we're going to talk about Ruby Ridge and Waco. What I'm trying to do, guys, instead of going through a history of all these things with the feds, I want to focus in on what is Kash Patel's game here. He's not stupid. We can take that off the table. Is he afraid or compromised? Why would he immediately run out with this BS fake report that they were there for crowd control? Why would he do that? I'd like an investigation, a real investigation. Maybe get Lindsay on this one too, or Judge Janine, and investigate this report and find out when that report was written. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. This is Corey from Bedminster, New Jersey.
Hey, Corey. What's up?
One quick question. One quick question. I don't want to tie you up. But if they knew if they were crowd control, why didn't they say that 5 years ago?
Exactly.
Not even.
Exactly. That report, as far as I know, that report was written 5 days ago, right? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just wanted to ask you about that one.
Well, what do you think? Why do you think Kash Patel would run out so quick and promote this obvious fake report as the gospel? Why would he do that?
This is the first I heard of it, so it still boggles my mind a little bit. But I don't know if he's up for this at all. Every time I think he's doing okay, then he comes back and does something stupid again. So I'm not sure.
All right, from Bedminster, take care. Appreciate the call. All right, if you want to call in, the number's toll-free, pinned in the live chat. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean.
Well, this really does upset me as well. Here's a guy who years ago would talk about getting to the truth of the matter. A man that wasn't even there that day amongst the crowd. We have many people that were in the crowd that it was pretty obvious what was happening. I mean, there were lots of agents out there. There were provocateurs. It was proven. Then all of a sudden, a few days ago, we're going to get this report, which out of nowhere, you're right. The only thing that could be was compromising or fear or, some kind of money or something, or, because, I mean, there's nothing else really you could say. I mean, he is not stupid. He's very smart. His Government Gangsters book did really well.
The major conflict, I saw this story yesterday, and I held on to it because I wanted to see if there were any. I thought I was hiding. It was in the news yesterday, and I wanted to see if there were any developments. Okay, there are not any developments. And here's what we got. We got 2 pieces of information, right? We got 3 pieces. At the end of the week, it was officially reported there were 274 feds. The president comes out with this post on Truth, saying they were probably acting as agitators and insurrectionists, the FBI agents. Yeah. And then the next day, Kash Patel came out last night with this.
Right.
So I was expecting today there to be a follow-up. There's been none. So, there's a conflict here. So is Kash Patel betraying Trump here? Is he scared? Is he compromised? What's going on with Kash Patel?
Well, whatever reason he's doing this, it's a betrayal. I mean, because whatever it could be, Donald Trump has the intellect. He has the intelligence. He knows what's happening. I take his word over anybody. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why he would just go over him like this. He should be lucky that Trump chose him for this position. He should be grateful that Trump has this trust in him. And now, I don't know. I mean, I can imagine how steaming he is right now, President Trump.
Oh, he must be fuming, especially when, well, Kash Patel's saying this is stupid in general, but it completely contradicts everything that the president said on True Social.
Right.
About
You're trying to make the boss making him look like that. That's just really bad timing.
He's making Trump look nuts.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, I shouldn't say nuts. He's making Trump sound like he doesn't know what's going on.
Yes. Because we know that Trump knows exactly what's happening, and he's very much with it. And you know what? And shame on him for not being able to. Just the next day, like you say, just the next day. What is the timing of this? Is absolutely absurd. There is something.
There's something going on. All right, Ben Ben, I appreciate the call. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Mark Etzrader, calling you from West Jefferson, Ohio.
All right, what's up?
I just want to tell you, you're doing a good job. Keep up the good work, and don't let the haters get you down, man.
Oh, please, that's food for me. If you don't have haters, you're not doing your job.
Sorry?
I said if you don't have haters, you're not doing your job.
Amen to that, man. Keep it up.
All right, take care. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Josh from Tampa.
Hey, Josh. Hold on, Josh. Let me answer these lines. My lines are ringing off the hook. Yeah, go ahead, Tampa. What's on your mind?
I mean, the thing with Kash is I think he's compromised for sure. I mean, there's no way they come in there saying, "Oh, we're gonna expose everything."
Well,
but
one of the earlier callers made a great point. He said, if they were there for crowd control, Ray would have released this years ago.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think also, like in politics, it's pretty much like they do it to us, and then we do it to them.
No, I don't know. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean, and I don't know how that applies to this.
If the justice system spies on Trump, right, then that kind of gives the other side the ability to do the exact same thing. And I think that there is a possibility.
We're not spying on anyone.
I'm not saying we are. I'm saying that if you already know all the secrets, if you know all the Epstein stuff, if Kash knows everything that's going on in the FBI, you have a large amount of control over those people.
Right, okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. You missed your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Ethan. I'm calling from New York.
Okay, hold on, Ethan. Let me answer the line. Okay, go ahead, Ethan. What's on your mind?
Hey, I just got a question for you because I'm not a big Trump supporter guy, but
that's too bad.
It always makes me wonder how, what do you think about when Trump talks and when he tweets and stuff? What do you think about his language? Because to me, it kind of sounds like...
Hold on. You want me to talk? What language are you... What is he tweeted, or he doesn't tweet too much? What does he post at the social media?
I'm saying when he talks about how great he is and he inflates his ego all the time.
Oh, he is great.
Don't you think it kind of sounds bitch-made and pussy-like?
No, I just think you like to say dirty words because you're a creep.
A creep?
I mean, who talks like that?
Why
would you call and say words like that? What's the matter with you?
No, it's just because Donald Trump, the way that he feels, about society,
how can you, when you talk so low class, how can you hold yourself up on a pedestal of moral superiority to Donald Trump?
I never said I hold myself on a pedestal. I think you might.
Excuse me. You called in taking issue with his use of language, and then you used dirty words more than once. What's the matter with you?
Oh, no. I'm just saying how he likes to call out other people. Yeah.
Well, before you criticize the words that others use, maybe you should clean up your act a little bit and not use dirty words.
You don't you think you kind of sound pussy-like and bitch-made right now?
You said it again. I think you just look like a low...
Are you taking after your leader?
I think
Everything
you look like a low-class person. I think
MAGA's full of bitches and
I think what you are is a pervert who likes to say dirty words to men to get your kinks. That's what I think. Oh, boy, now you know why Zohan's doing so well in New York. Look at the average Democrat in New York. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hey, this is Duncan from Nevada, and
hold on, Duncan. Let me answer these lines. Yeah, Duncan. Go ahead, Duncan.
Yeah. So I would like to piggyback on the last guy. Like, for instance, why would you ever have a high expectation for the standard person, unlike the President of the United States, when it comes to rhetoric?
I don't understand your question.
Okay, sure. So why is it that we don't have a problem when the President of the United States is using rhetoric like, oh yeah, I hate the left, they're my enemy, I hate them so much? Like, why is it that you think it's appropriate for the President of the United States to be saying that, but lecturing the guy who's asking the question like, hey, he probably shouldn't be saying that. Yeah, sure, he might be an asshole.
Yeah.
And
what is it with these liberals with their fantasies? I've never heard...
how about you just ask a question, man? I think it's easy as that.
It's hard to answer a question when you won't stop talking. It's not easy as that when the person asks...
Go right ahead.
You asked your question, I'm trying to answer it, and then you won't stop talking. You're just waiting to talk, not waiting for an answer.
You kind of just went to an insult.
Yeah, exactly. Because you deserved it.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, exactly. So I'm saying exactly what's deserved to Trump, yeah.
So President Trump has never incited violence against anyone.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it with his speech then at the Charlie Kirk Memorial thing?
When at the Charlie Kirk Memorial service did he incite violence? I watched the whole thing. I didn't hear that.
Really? So you don't think at all the words are like, oh yeah, I hate my enemies.
Hate is not the incitement of violence.
Do you think you have to explicitly call out violence for it to happen?
Yeah. You have to incite the violence to be inciting violence.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
So
it's hard for you to, the reason you don't understand that is because you're consumed with hate, so you're always full of hate. So everything out of your mouth is
okay. So aside from going to that cop out and not addressing to what I'm asking,
I've addressed everything.
Hitler had to say that, like, hey, let's kill the Jews, like in his first years of office. But no, he was dehumanizing Jews. That's all he had to do.
Well, to say that,
and then he eventually killed the Jews.
No, he put together an industrial government process that brought us the Holocaust on top of rhetoric. He actually did it too, like you Democrats are doing. You Democrats are shooting people and killing people.
I'm sorry, who does the majority of political violence? Oh,
Democrats.
Yeah, that's right. It's the white ring.
No, Democrats.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, give me the data. Give me the data.
You had a Democrat in Dallas last week shoot up the ICE officers. We had
no, I'm not
Charlie.
We had a Charlie. I'm telling you, demonstrate data to me.
I am demonstrating the data.
Doing more violence.
I'm demonstrating
You're giving me examples. You're not giving me.
Dallas
percentages.
Dallas this week was shot.
That's an example. Congratulations.
Well, you asked for examples. Charlie Kirk.
Yeah,
that was a Democrat.
I'm talking about data, percentages.
This is data. This is data.
No, you're giving me examples.
No, I'm giving you examples. I'm giving you examples when Democrats have killed people in just the last couple of weeks.
Yes, I'm talking about
take care. Oh my goodness. Not examples. I want data. What does that even mean? You're on. Jeez. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Dreama from Charleston, West Virginia.
Charleston, West Virginia. I guess you always have to add the West Virginia so people don't think you're from South Carolina, right?
Right. Just I wouldn't want to be from there.
Yeah. All right, West Virginia, what's on your mind?
Do you remember when they had Director Wray being questioned by Congress, and I cannot think of the congressman's name, and I'm thinking he might have been from Texas, but he had like a more of a accent than I have, actually. And he talked real slow. He talked about the ghost buses
I don't remember now.
He talked about ghost buses being in a parking garage at like 5:30 in the morning.
On January 6th?
On January 6th.
No, I haven't heard that.
Yeah,
I haven't heard about the buses, no.
He was asking about how many FBI were in the crowd, and Ray kept saying he really couldn't say, and there were no undercover.
Was it Chip Roy? Was it Chip Roy you're talking about? Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it was.
Christopher Ray on one, and I think two times said there were no FBI agents in the crowd. So now, even with Kash Patel's BS story, he lied to Congress.
Yeah, definitely. And I think at one point he said there were 3 or 4, but they were there on their own. They weren't part of
on their own.
They weren't there on the payroll. Yeah.
All 274 of them. Well, I wonder if that was. I wonder if he
said 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I do remember that. That does sound familiar now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just, because at any time they say conservatives resort to violence, they always go to January 6th. Well, first, now if there were almost 300 FBI agents in the crowd inciting violence, and then, we know the police fired, onto the crowd. Mm-hmm. They instigated a lot of what was going on.
Well, the president says so. On Truth Social, President Trump said, probably acting as agitators and insurrectionists, but certainly not as law enforcement officers. I want to know who each and every one of these so-called agents are and what they were up to on that day, he said.
One of them went to jail.
Yeah.
I'm sure they didn't go to jail. They weren't pardoned. They slipped out and were never charged with anything, and then probably investigated all the others that were charged.
Exactly. Well, listen, welcome to the program. I got to run, but thanks so much. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free. If you're watching live on YouTube, the number's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take a quick break and be back with more calls, and I got a lot more to cover too. Don't go anywhere.
Hello?
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to recap for people just tuning in. So it came out last week, official reporting, that there were 200. We knew there were FBI agents embedded with the J6 crowd. We knew that. But we didn't have the official record. So we got an official number. There were documents showed there were 274 FBI agents in the crowd on January 6th. Huge. I mean, it's a confirmation of what we've suspected for years, right? We got the official confirmation. President Trump came out on Truth Social with a very long post, and he said it was just revealed that the FBI had secretly placed, against all rules, regulations, protocols, and standards, 274 FBI agents into the crowd just prior to and during the January 6th hoax. Probably acting as agitators and insurrectionists, but certainly not as law enforcement officers. I want to know who each and every one of these so-called agents are and what they were up to on that now historic day. Then Kash Patel comes out, this dropped yesterday, that, oh yeah, we got the records. They were called in after the event started on January 6th to do crowd control. And of course, I'm calling BS on that. So let's go back to the phones. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. Line 1, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. This is Sue from Aventura.
Hey, Sue.
I'm just going to talk about there was a video of those ghost buses, all the people coming out of the buses. They had a video. I know what that woman was talking about. And I'm in shock at all this. My heart is broken. What about the pipe bomber? There's no name on that.
Well, I'm trying to focus. I want to focus in on, because if we start talking about everything, we don't get. Here's the possibilities with Kash Patel. He's scared, right? Mm-hmm. Or he's compromised, right? Are there other options? What are the other options?
Not really. This is just shocking. I'm in shock. I'm really in shock. I'm so sad.
What's crazy to me is he came out and said this after the president's post to Truth Social. That's why I was waiting. I thought for sure we'd get a follow-up today on this to try to put things in perspective, and it's been radio silence.
And I just want to say one more thing. For the people who call in and who are kind of not nice, you're only on this earth one time, and you should be happy and enjoy every minute, because you're not going to be here. I'm 60 years old, and life goes by so fast.
Yeah, it does.
I've been in my job since I was 19. Just enjoy every minute. Try to get happy again. Try to be happy, and just enjoy your life, because you're only here for a short time. And thanks for everything you do, Brian. You're great.
All right. Well, I appreciate the call from Aventura. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Timothy calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, Timothy.
Hey, good afternoon. Oh, good evening. I'm Brian.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just calling to say that I think Kash Patel, I think he does support Trump. Perhaps he's in a legal compromising situation that maybe
hold
doesn't
on
have.
A second. A legal compromising situation? Hold on a second. A legal compromising situation? What does that mean?
Well, what I'm saying is that he probably only have documentation that say why the agents were there, but it may not necessarily be true.
He didn't have to come out and release a statement. Obviously, those documents are BS. He didn't have to come out and with his own words and tell Fox News, well, I got these documents. This is the real story. President Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. Why didn't he go to the president and brief the president in private? Why did he go to Fox News with this story?
You raised a good point. I mean, I don't know why, but I just find it kind of odd. I do think he's been a strong supporter.
Well, he's not supporting him this weekend. Listen, this Comey indictment had nothing to do with Cash Bongino or Pam Bondi. It happened in spite of them. Trump got this Comey indictment, right? He appointed this good girl, this good conservative girl, Lindsay, to be the acting United States attorney. In a couple of days, she came back with the indictment. They've done less than nothing. They've done nothing. I say less than nothing because this is a negative. They're in the hole.
Well, I will say this. I think you said it, or one of your callers may have said it earlier, maybe they're not up to the job. That could be what that is.
These are big people they're going up against. I can understand being scared.
Right. Fine. They're probably just not up to it.
Yep. All right. Appreciate the call. Take care. From Atlanta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Kay from Arkansas.
Hey, Kay.
I have a question, and you can try to figure out where I'm coming from. Why are our military, ICE, and the police out-equipped with tranquilizer guns? You know, the animal control is.
Why are the police doing what?
Why are they not equipped with tranquilizer guns?
Tranquilizer guns?
Tranquilizer guns, yes. You go into a group of crazy people, and you really ought to make a statement that we're here, and if you act up or you go crazy...
Well, they have taser guns.
Well, you have to get right on top of that person to get them with a taser.
The tranquilizers, you know, these criminals, they're all high on adrenaline, right? And a lot of them are high on other things too, and a lot of them are big guys, and the tranquilizer just wouldn't have an effect, probably.
Oh, I see.
Why? But my question is, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about here. Why is that on your mind out of the blue? That seems like a strange thing.
I tried to call you not too long ago, and it was already over. It's just a situation that you see more and more aggressive behavior towards the police, ICE, and in general, these are crazy people.
Yeah, tranquilizers wouldn't stop most of these people. There's too much adrenaline going on top of the drugs they might be on.
Well, I just know they do lions and tigers, and then they take them where they're safe, and everybody around is safe.
You can't give the same. If you give an elephant dose to a human, you would probably kill them.
Well, I'm not saying kill them. I'm just saying control them and remove them.
It just seems like a bizarre thing for a nice lady in Arkansas to be wondering about. It's just, doesn't that seem kind of out of the blue? All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is George. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA.
All right, what's up?
So I got a question for you, because I was a registered Republican. I voted for Trump in his first term, and just recently, over like the past 2 years, I say I'm kind of going through a little bit of a transformation. I'm kind of considering myself more independent at this point, but just to start off, what makes you kind of stay loyal to MAGA and to Trump?
Well, this is an interesting thing. So in the last election, you voted for Kamala Harris?
No, I did not vote last election.
You didn't vote?
I did not vote, yes.
You know, you're African American, right?
No, I'm white.
It's bad enough you lied about being a Trump supporter. Now you're lying about that? Come on.
What do you mean? I got a deep voice. I'm white, though. I'm a white American.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A white American former Trump supporter who sounds like a black guy calling from a Democrat city. Give me a break. You know, why? I don't understand. What do you think you're pulling here? You know, come on. Everybody knows. It's okay. It's okay to be. It's okay to be liberal. It's okay to be black.
Sir, I don't live in the city. First of all,
I know. It's
absurd. I don't live. No, sir. I just want to clarify. I do not live in the city. I hear what you're saying. I'm sorry if you're having a hard time on the calls today.
No, there's no hard time on the calls. You kidding me?
I'm a white male.
I know. You're white.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm African American. I want to have a conversation. If you don't want to have,
it's hard to have a conversation when I'm talking to a liar who every word out of your mouth has been a lie.
How can you know I'm a black man? I'm not a black man.
Listen, I have been doing this for a long time. I have probably talked to 1 million callers over the years. I've been doing this so long.
I don't know why we're arguing right now.
And because I'm talking to a liar.
Sir, I'm sorry. I call in. I want to have the conversation.
I'm going around in circles. I mean, come on. What do you guys think? Do you think he was a Trump supporter? Do you think he's a white guy? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I just want you to know that was the most racist fucking bullshit I have ever heard in my life. You are a terrible person, and you need to stop antagonizing people and pitting people against each other.
Well, people call me. I don't call you guys. I don't call you guys. You call me.
No, shut the...
Okay. You guys call me. I'm not calling you, okay? So, come on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Hi, this is Bill, and I'm calling from Whitestone, New York.
Yes, Bill. Yep, you're
How
on the
are
air.
You, Brian?
I'm okay. What's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to ask you a question regarding all these shooters.
You gotta turn the volume down of whatever device you're listening to me on.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put you on hold while I answer all these lines that are coming in. All right, you're on the air. Hello. Once, twice. Okay, he didn't make it back. You're on the air.
Hi, Brian.
Okay,
it's
you made
Bill
it back.
again.
Okay, Bill, you made it back. Yeah,
My
go ahead.
question was regarding all these mass shooters. They're not blacks. Can we be honest about that at least?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you kind of always blame everything on the Democratic cities and other people, but you're not really paying attention to what's really going on. Most of these mass shooters are not blacks.
Who said that they were? Who said they were?
What can we do to...
What can we do
to address this stuff in our own communities?
Who said that they were?
Well, my point is you always seem to point the finger at the Democratic cities. I'm in the Democratic city myself, and I see most of the violence not always coming from the people you're trying to portray as being very bad.
Who am I trying to portray as being very bad?
Well, you say that the Democratic areas are filled with crime all the time.
Not all. And you think
and
all
I don't think
you think all
filled
Democrats
with crime than any one of the other neighborhoods in our
You think all
country.
Democrats are black? What are you saying?
I'm saying is, what do you think about all these mass shooters? I think 80% of them are white.
This is what I think, okay? Do you remember Joe Rogan, the famous podcaster? He first kind of became famous. He was on shows before, but he became famous on Fear Factor. Remember Fear Factor?
Yes, it was a cable show at night.
No, it wasn't a cable show at night. No, Fear Factor was on Fox, not the cable network. It was on the Fox network. And
I stand corrected.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and remember they would have people on. It was a reality show. And Joe Rogan was the host. And people would come on and do dangerous stunts to win prizes, right? Remember that? It was a reality game show.
Yes, I remember.
Okay, at the beginning of every episode of Fear Factor, they would tell you, the stunts you're about to see are real, they're dangerous, do not attempt them at home, right? And what I've been dealing with you, the couple idiots before you that called, and a few others, are some amateurs sitting at home watching me in their living room, calling me, trying to be a talk show host, and trying to walk me down some imaginary garden path to some point that you're all trying to make. The one guy, I'm a white Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump supporter anymore. You with this nonsense that you're babbling. You guys sound ridiculous. Just call in, and I understand that it's embarrassing for you all to be liberals. I get that. It's humiliating to admit you're a Democrat, but that's okay. This is a safe space. You can tell me the truth that you're a Democrat and you don't like Trump and Republicans. Don't call in and pretend to be MAGA or former MAGA or Republican. It's not just...
Brian, I've never voted for a Democrat in 12 years.
I don't care what you tell me. With everything you just said was so absurdly stupid, right out of the mouth of some brain-dead, demented liberal. All right, appreciate the call. You guys know what I mean? Give me a break. Oh, boy, oh, boy. I'm going to take a couple more calls, and then I'm going to move on to some other topics. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going, man? My name is Nathan. I'm calling from Iowa City, Iowa.
Okay.
I had a question for you.
No, I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to answer your question.
Why is that?
Well, I've been answering a lot of questions. I'm done answering questions. I brought up a lot of topics on the program today. You're welcome to comment on any of them, but I'm not answering any question you ask. No, that's a question.
What would you like me to comment on?
That's a question. You just asked me another question. I'm not answering any of your questions.
Well, I suppose then I will say about the kind of the January 6th situation. I think it's, it's kind of, it seems a bit of a reach to me to suggest that, all of the individuals who entered the Capitol on that day were doing so under the direction of the FBI. Seems to me that there was a lot of internal reasons why Trump supporters might enter that building.
Excuse me. It is a fact. It is a fact. We now know this is a fact. 274 FBI agents were in that crowd. That's almost 300. That's a lot of FBI agents.
There's a lot of people in the crowd who aren't FBI agents as well. We're
not worried about them.
Thousands of people there.
We have new news. The new news is there were 270. This was just official at Thursday. This is new stuff. And Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, double confirmed it over the weekend. 274 FBI agents were in the crowd on January 6th. That is a fact.
And, and Donald Trump also encouraged, his supporters to be there at the Capitol.
Everybody has a right to go to Washington. Most kids go there in the fifth grade.
I totally agree.
Fifth graders go there every year. People go on vacation.
Mm-hmm. I've been to Washington, D.C. before. Absolutely.
You must be an insurrectionist. Wait a minute. You went to Washington? You must be an insurrectionist.
I have been to Washington, D.C.
You must be an insurrectionist.
I actually entered the Capitol building. I entered the Capitol building. I went to the rear side of the building.
Oh, there you go. He went to Washington. He must be an insurrectionist. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, this is Gene.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello, this is Gene.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hello?
Hey, this is Gene. Hello.
Hello?
Hey, are you... Hello?
Hello? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm John in Virginia.
Hey, John, what's up?
How you doing, Brian? I've been listening to you. I got a theory on it. I got a theory that I ain't heard nobody talk about, but I'll tell you, I remember when they went before Congress with Ray and asked him explicitly how many people were in the crowd, and this man made it sound like it was less than 20. And it wasn't a year later when we got a whistleblower that came out to Congress and told Congress they had hundreds of people before they put a report out that said, oh, yeah, we had hundreds of people, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. They were there.
No, he lied to Congress. He lied to Congress about it, and he knew there were.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I remember they lied. Yeah. I know they lied, but they conveniently put out that report as soon as the whistleblower came out. Then a report came out, and they admitted that there were 200 people. Kash Patel ain't got a choice but to deal with what he's got. But we got to wait for the wheel.
No. He's got a choice. When he looks at the paperwork and it says there were 270. And by the way, why didn't Kash Patel share this like 6 months ago?
I don't know.
Exactly. So when was this report written? He's been FBI director for months.
Well, the report. I remember the report came out under Ray, and it came out like 22 or 23.
I don't know. I don't care about Ray right now. I'm talking about Kash Patel. Why did Kash Patel not release this report that is not classified? There are 274 agents doing crowd control. If that's the truth, and this report's been around all these years, why did it take him 6 months to release it?
Well, that's the thing. Like I remember how suspicious it was that the FBI claimed there was less than 20 agents on site. They were so unprepared for it when they testified.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about Chris Ray right now. I'm not worried about Chris Ray right now. Okay, I'm talking about today. I'm talking about what's in the news today.
We know the paperwork is fixed. We know it's fixed.
Well, if you and I know, what's Kash Patel presenting this as real for then?
Well, he's releasing what they see. We know we've got a criminal investigation.
I appreciate the call. He's releasing what they see. No, he could have why didn't he release this 6 months ago? If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take a break. I got more to cover We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Make sure you follow and subscribe. Okay, so there has been just a constant, nonstop stream of left-wing Democrat violence, right? Of course, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the ICE facility in Dallas, and now this. We found out something more happened at the United Nations other than all of the sabotage of President Trump that I was talking about on the past few programs. Look at this. A deranged leftist assaulted a Trump official in a United Nations bathroom. This is being released by the White House. Fox News reporting. A Trump administration official was physically assaulted inside the United Nations Thursday afternoon during the gathering of the UN General Assembly, Fox News has learned. And is that a HHS official? Was followed, this is a Trump official, was followed into a bathroom, recorded, physically assaulted, and verbally accosted by a deranged leftist at the United Nations who somehow entered the venue past multiple layers of security, said Anna Kelly, the deputy press secretary at the White House. I mean, what the heck? I mean, how much violence could you imagine? You know, Matt Walsh was talking the other day. I mentioned this, I think, on yesterday's program. If all these things were happening, were in the reverse politically, could you imagine? There is a major national attack being done by leftists towards conservatives, and it's happening constantly. And this story about the deranged leftist attacking a Trump official inside a bathroom at the United Nations, following them in and assaulting them, there's been really no news coverage. This story here is about it, because the press aren't interested in these stories. The news are in the business of covering up the news. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good afternoon. This is Joe from New Jersey.
Hey, Joe. What's up?
I just wanted to call and touch on Kash Patel. I agree with you 100%. He's out of control by not going directly to his president instead of running right to Fox News. That was wrong. But also, and more importantly, we need to find out from the government how many other agents were embedded in the crowd from all the other agencies. Because I know Metro Police, DC Police, the Capitol Police, everybody had people in the crowd besides the FBI.
Yeah, but it's
and
best.
when you add all that up,
let me tell you,
it makes Trump look right.
It's best
or approved.
It's best to stick to the facts we have, so you can focus in with a microscope. The FBI isn't a large organization in DC. You know, 274 is a big chunk of their force, right? And so I don't know how many agents they had in DC on that day. I'd like to know. But if we know there's an unknown X, we're trying to solve. We have 274. Okay, so how many agents do they have there, and what percentage of their agents were at the because it would be easy. It would be easy to identify them if they know there were 274. They have this cover story of a document that, for all I know, was put together a week ago, because this isn't classified information. 274 agents doing crowd control. Kash Patel was sitting on this. Come on, there's
Not just that, they haven't revealed who planted the fake bombs.
Well, that's something else. But we know.
What are they waiting for on that?
Well, we know there were 274 FBI agents, right?
At least, Brian, because they had proven, testified to in court, embedded agents within the Proud Boys and other groups like
listen. If you know there's 274, you know all the agents that are operating in that area at the time. Through the process of elimination, these 274...
They even have their cell phones, I'm sure.
Yeah, they can be identified.
They pinged everybody's phone, so they know who's there.
They can be identified, okay? You want them identified so they can bring them in individually and find out what they really were doing there.
Absolutely.
And
we need to know,
also,
like President Trump said, he owes it to the patriots that were wrongly persecuted and suffered.
And also,
because they were trying to stop
if you
President
identify
Trump.
them, we can find them, and we can find some of them certainly, and all the footage that's there. So if they're there and they're in MAGA hats and MAGA gear,
exactly.
I doubt
how many were dressed as MAGA?
Yeah.
Because if they were there for crowd control, they wouldn't have been dressed as MAGA.
They wouldn't have had time. I mean, what would they have got? A MAGA outfit would be a costume to these people, an undercover costume.
Yes.
So these Washington FBI guys, they're not like me. I got a MAGA hat in the back seat of every one of my cars in case I leave mine at home, right? So, you know what I mean? So, so there's a lot of things that can be found here. And if you get talking about this or that, you get off of. We've got information that can be used to find out who was really behind everything.
Absolutely. We just have to pressure them to get the details of what they revealed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And who those agents were.
Yeah.
But keep up the good work. I love you guys. God bless your show. Keep Keep doing great.
All right, I appreciate it. Yeah, this, by the way, guys, make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you're tuned in on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Craig. This is David from New York City. I have a question for you. Do you know who Mark Bray is?
No.
Okay, so he's the writer of the Antifa Handbook. He's currently being investigated by the Trump administration. Yeah. So did you know that Mark Bray and James O'Keefe grew up together? And they actually know each other.
Well, obviously I don't know because I've not heard of this Antifa guy.
Okay, so currently right now, Mark Bray is being investigated for contributing to Antifa by the FBI and DOJ and funding Antifa. But my point is that when we're talking about lies that the FBI might be hiding, it might be hiding it for a reason. And I think that most of us don't even understand how complex these lives of these people who are treacherous traitors really are. They're all in cahoots.
Yeah, most of them are. You know, I don't know about this thing with James O'Keefe. I don't know too much. Really, I don't know. Come to think of it, I don't know anything about James O'Keefe's childhood or anything. I mean, I don't know about this. And this Antifa guy, I don't know. I've never heard of him before.
Well, my point is that these people are being...
So I mean, no. So what if what you say is true, and I don't know because I never heard of this other guy. What's the point that you're making?
My point is that the FBI knows about these people. James O'Keefe is now like trying to pump out the stuff about Epstein and Trump not being involved. I kind of just
you're suggesting that James O'Keefe is part of the deep state.
I never talked like this before.
No, I'm asking you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I'm starting to think like this.
Well, I want to give you. I don't know. Never heard of this guy you're talking about, and I certainly don't. I'm not accepting it as fact because I never heard of the guy about the guy. But I give you a couple things that'll show you that he's not. Number one, James O'Keefe's been arrested, and he has a conviction. Remember, he went into This was after his initial fame, right? With the Acorn stuff, he went into a congressman's office like undercover and he broke the law and got busted. And he faced criminal prosecution for that. If he was a deep state Fed, that wouldn't have happened. Also, when he brought down Acorn, that was a big Obama operation now. And he came up through the ranks. What I do know about, I don't know about James O'Keefe in his childhood, but he was, you know who his mentor was?
No, I do not.
Andrew Breitbart. Andrew Breitbart, okay, was his mentor who taught him to do what he does now. And Lila Rose, who does a podcast now. You ever heard of Lila Rose?
No, sir.
Okay, many years. I'm telling you this because your suspicions about James O'Keefe, if they're legit, are totally BS. Lila Rose, about 15 years ago, she went undercover to Planned Parenthood clinics around the country. And she would tell them that she was 15, sometimes even younger. She looked very young. And that she was impregnated by an adult man, which is statutory rape. And they all, without any parental notification or calling the police, they were ready to give her an abortion. She did this undercover, and she had a hidden camera and microphone on. James O'Keefe was her camera and sound guy on that. Lila Rose infiltrating Planned Parenthood. So his credentials are very firm and strong. He's not anyone you have to worry about.
I understand that, sir, but what I'm trying to point out is that Mark Bray also...
I don't know about this Mark Bray stuff. What I'm telling you is that James O'Keefe, I know about his professional background, and it is firm, it is strong, and it is so far, you can trust him as much as you can trust Trump almost. And Trump, you can trust 1,000%.
I smoked weed with James O'Keefe in my basement.
No, now you smoke weed in the basement. I think what you're doing is just making shit up. That's what I think. All right, appreciate the call. Oh my goodness. See, this goes back to the fear factor thing. Don't try this at home, okay? This isn't one of those podcasts in some guy's bedroom where he's got some fake plants on a fake bookshelf with a couple of plants and some lights shooting off the ground. I'm like a professional guy that's been doing this longer than you trolls have been alive, okay? And I can smell BS a mile away and take it down. Oh my goodness. All right, let me play this. This is this is Mike Johnson with Jake Tapper on CNN. Oh, and by the way, they're talking about the 274 FBI agents at the at J6. Here you got Deep State Tapper. He's right there, isn't he, with that? See, now let me tell you why I shared this. I shared this for the two things he dropped there. If you're on hold, stand by. If you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, if you go to my main stream, you can see and hear all the audio and video I share. And the link to my main stream is in the description of that video. Okay, this is fantastical, Jake Tapper here. Okay, this whole story, this document now that Kash Patel's talking about, that these 200, yeah, there were two, oh yeah, just the news just broke this, oh yeah, there was, yeah, we have this, yeah, there were 274 FBI agents there doing crowd control. Oh, I don't know why we haven't shared this in 5 years, 4 years, I don't know, and I've been here 6 months, I haven't shared this, but I got it here, it's here now you're seeing, that's deep, What the deep state, one of their big tactics is diversion, right? Get things going with false narratives. This thing that they're there for crowd control, false narrative. And then you see it, but Jake Tapper's, because Mike Johnson's tight with Trump. Trump always has him and everything. But Tapper there, oh no, I'm quoting Kash Patel, your FBI director. Because he's MAGA and appointed by Trump. So see, something's going on with Kash. Maybe he's scared. I don't blame him. These are some bad dudes he's up against. And then at the end he throws in, oh yeah, just like the Epstein fight, there's an Epstein. See, Epstein's another deep state distraction. To try to get people looking over here and talking about this. About a guy that's been dead for 6 years, and his ring of perversions thankfully ended years before that. But they want you to talk about that. They want you to, oh no, they were there for crowd control. It's all psychological warfare to divert into different directions and try to get... Why do you think when the seminar callers that they send to me, they try to get me talking about this, they try to get me talking about that, they're trying to get us off of where we are focused. The Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms, guys. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for The Brian Craig Show and I'll pop up. Now, if you want to catch the show live, when I'm taking calls, go to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. You can catch me live. You can even call in yourself if you want. We'll take a quick break and be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Okay, so Mayor Adams dropped out of the mayor's race, and his concession video is so embarrassing that I'm embarrassed watching it. I mean, maybe pull up some of it. I mean, it's really. Hold on, I hate when they make you do that. Let me cue it up. I gotta watch an ad first. I thought I queued past the ad. Hold on. This is it's just embarrassing. I mean, he's hold on. Okay, here we go. Mayor Adams. And he did this weird thing. He walked down the steps. I thought Gracie Mansion would be nicer on the inside. Is that Gracie Mansion? And he has this huge blown up photograph of his mom that he put on the steps next to him. We all love our moms, but I don't have a blown up photograph that large that I walk around the house with of my mother, but I guess I'm not Mayor Adams. What did he say about the struggle? Let me rewind that. What did he say? I live the struggle. What did he say? I live the struggle? Yeah, I live. What struggle is he living? Okay, now, unfortunately, he didn't endorse Governor Cuomo. I don't like Governor Cuomo, but he's better than Zohan. You know, Zohan, I know there's a lot of conventional wisdom. Well, New York deserves it. Let them have this guy. No, this is the beginning of something really bad. This guy Zohan is not just some liberal socialist kid from some liberal school. That'd be bad enough, okay? This isn't Mayor Dinkins, who was god-awful. This is the beginning of something that we don't want to be dealing with in this country, okay? And he is as bad can get. And the only reason that Mayor Adams has dropped out is because they cut off his campaign funds. You know, so we'll see if they can get him to endorse Governor Cuomo. You know, Curtis Sliwa, I know there'll be a lot of people who say, well, Curtis Sliwa's running, he's Republican. He doesn't have a hope or a prayer, Curtis Sliwa, okay? He's not really even a threat now. It's not really technically a three-way race because he's going to get 6 votes. But Zohan becoming mayor of New York City will be the beginning of a trend in this country that will make us a country that is America in name only for a whole bunch of reasons. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Eric calling from Florida.
Eric in Florida?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm in Florida too. What's on your mind?
Hey, are you guys still talking about the FBI agents? Or
yeah, sure, yeah. So that's on the table, yeah.
So what's your biggest concern about these agents being there? What do you think?
Well, it's not what I think. It's what the president thinks. And the president is in the know. So let me share with you what President Trump says, okay? And I think we can agree that President Trump knows more than you and I combined about it, right? So let me read you what... Oh, you know more than President Trump?
Not necessarily.
Oh, really?
Necessarily.
Really?
Yeah, well...
Who are you? Who are you? I mean, are you with the FBI? Capitol Police? How could you know more than the President of the United States about this issue? I'm curious.
I never said that I knew more. You said that you both agreed that the President was in the knowing. What I'm saying is not necessarily, because if the President, for starters, if the President knew about this for all these years...
Oh, okay, hold on a second. Okay, hold on a second. I thought I didn't understand what you were saying. Now I understand the problem. You don't even understand what you're saying. Let me read to you what the President said about this, okay, on True Social. He posted this on True Social. President Trump said this: "It was just revealed that the FBI had secretly placed, against all rules, regulations, protocols, and standards, 274 FBI agents into the crowd just prior to and during the January 6th hoax. This is different from what Director Chris Wray stated over and over again." FBI agents, excuse me, I'm not done. FBI agents were at and in the January 6th protest, probably acting as agitators and insurrectionists, but certainly not as law enforcement officers. I want to know who each and every one of these so-called agents are and what they were up to on that now historic day. So that's what the President says about it.
Gotcha. And you just said yourself, he said probably. And the first thing you said, that the President was fully in the knowing, and you just read something that he stated where he's just saying probably they were there. He doesn't even know.
He said certainly not as law enforcement officials. Certainly not as law enforcement officials. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. There was a gallows was constructed in front of the Capitol building, right? It's been all over the... I want to know if these FBI guys put it together. How could a bunch of guys pull up in pickup trucks with a gallows and erect it, a full-size gallows in front of the Capitol building on the Washington Mall, and not be stopped by the cops? Park Police, Capitol Police, feds. That's just not believable. That was put up by feds. Had to be.
Okay. And how many of those feds were arrested for storming the Capitol? How many of those were?
We don't know. Maybe some of them were. We do not know because they have not been identified.
Well, we have the names.
See, this is what. No, we don't have the names. Names haven't been released. No names have been released.
Of the people who were arrested? Yeah, of course, of course.
Oh, are those
every
arrested?
single one
Oh,
of them.
yeah. It's possible some of them were feds. Absolutely.
Really? And this neighbor came out to like something this big before?
I don't know.
Federal.
I don't know, but see what's believed. This is what people believe. Okay, this is what people believe. Well, it was just speculation. There were feds in the crowd until Thursday. You know, people believe that the feds were the agitators that instigated the incident.
Okay.
MAGA people are peaceful people.
Yeah, and let's say, for example, I'm one of those agents, and I tell you, bro, you know what would be super cool? If you guys go and storm right now the Capitol. If you go and storm the Capitol, that's 100% on you because you're an adult. Having these agents that, first of all, you don't know who they are. You just met them outside.
Have you ever been to you know, like a really packed concert or a football game?
Sure.
Okay. Sure. When everybody leaves at the same time, okay, you're in a crowd, you got to walk with the crowd. You can't stop. Once the herd is going, you've got to keep going. So what people believe is that the government, the deep state, the feds got the crowd going and got a herd thing going on. People were forced into the building.
Yeah, and after they were forced, they were pushed inside where they had to throw things around, break into offices, and destroy property.
No, in fact, most of them were walking on the velvet carpets between the velvet ropes, and then they walked out the other door.
So what's the problem? They just walk in and out. What's the problem?
Most everybody walked in and then followed the line and walked back out.
So what's the problem? If the feds were the ones behind this and they convinced the people to walk in and walk out peacefully, what's the problem?
Because they got their visual. Their visual and false narrative is that there was an insurrection. There was no insurrection.
Well, this was brought to trial to courts and with evidence. And
wait a minute. There was no insurrection.
Well, I don't know. You can call it whatever you want, but these people.
Well, an insurrection is when a government is overthrown. Mm-hmm. Was a government overthrown?
No, of course not.
Okay, well, there you go. Boom, no insurrection. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Demetrius. I'm calling from your mom's bedroom, and I just want to...
Oh, well, that's good. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. So there's an article in Breitbart today. They're calling it the Charlie Kirk effect. Ministers see faith revival in wake of Turning Point USA founder's assassination. A California pastor who was close friends with Charlie Kirk says he's seen a spiritual revival after Kirk was assassinated on September 10th. Can't believe it's almost October. It happened at the beginning of September. I went to church, went to Mass yesterday with my daughter, and it's the first time that I have walked and been inside a church and been at a church service since before the lockdowns. I used to go regularly, and then I think with a lot of people, after the lockdowns and everything, I got out of the habit and I never went back. And I went yesterday, and I'm going to be going every week. At least that's the plan, right? I'm going to be going every week. And I think a lot of people are like that. You know, the lockdown and shutdown period changed a lot of habits, right? You know, I went out to dinner with my daughter too last night, and we went to Chili's. There was hardly anybody there on a Saturday night. You know, I'm assuming they're doing a lot of DoorDash, right? A lot of people's habits changed. People stopped going out to restaurants as much and do the DoorDash. People stopped going to church. People stopped going to the movies, right? There's been a big change in people's behaviors, and it's been years now. And it got me back in church, and it's being reported elsewhere too. A lot of people have gotten back into church, and let's hope they stay. I went to confession before I went to church, or before the service, right? And I did not realize how long it had been since I'd been to confession. It'd been like 10 years plus. My wife reminded me before I went, and I went to confessional, and it had been so long since I had gone to confession that I forgot how to do it. So I was watching videos. I knew I was going to go on Saturday because that's when they have confession. They have confession before the Mass, and every Saturday, pretty much at every Catholic church, at least all the ones around me. And I forgot how to do confession, so I've been watching videos on YouTube all week on how to do it, and I was kind of nervous about doing it. And I downloaded an app. There's a ton of apps that walk you through the whole confession, and when you go to confession, you know, you've seen it in the movies where you have the screen and you talk to the priest through the screen. They do have that in there, right? You have the screen and everything else. You can get down on your knees and do everything through the screen, so you're anonymous with the priest. But you can also, if you walk around the wall, you can sit in a chair and face the priest. And that's what I did, which I've never done before. I've only been to confession. I'm my wife and I became Catholic like 15 years ago. But the other couple of times that I went to confession, I did it through the screen. And this time I sat down and faced the priest. So we were right in front of each other. And I've never done that before. But it was actually easier to do the confession facing the priest. I don't know if any of you have gone through this, but it was easier doing it facing. He gave me my penance, which I did, and had the Mass. But it was nice to be back, and it had been so long since I had gone. I felt so good after that confession and after that Mass, I tell you. And it had been so long since I had been to church, I had forgotten a lot of the things that I had memorized. So I had to read them in the hymnal, things that I had memorized before. But I plan on going back every week, and I'm glad I went yesterday, and hopefully you guys are going to church too. But I do think that there's a major return to churches nationwide. There's got to be in the aftermath of that. You know, this country's, what we're going through right now is just so god awful with what these leftists are doing. You know, this thing that's going on right now in Michigan, you know, that's still developing. I'll talk more about that on the show tomorrow, because I know they've ID'd who the person is. He's a veteran, Iraq veteran. And hopefully tomorrow we'll have more information, including possible motivations. But there's, you know, I was born in the 70s, so, you know, 71. So I was born in this era where I always saw on the documentaries on TV and everything, and in the books, all these just crazy things that happened in the 60s, right? The assassinations, the Vietnam War protest, you know, all these things that went on. And I always felt when I got a little older, when I was like in my 20s, I kind of felt like I missed out on something. That I missed. The 60s seemed so exciting, the way like our parents and stuff talked about them. And now when we're living through this era of leftist violence again, because the 60s was an era of leftist violence, we're living through this period of leftist violence now, and I didn't miss anything in the 60s, and I'm glad I wasn't there, because it is just god-awful. It is god-awful. You know, it is so dangerous right now in this country because of these out-of-control leftists who are doing all of these terrible things simply because they have a political opinion that's different than ours. And, you know, there's been a lot of years where we had 8 years of Obama, 8 years of Clinton, 4 years of Carter, 4 years of the auto-pin administration with Biden. You know, when you're not in power, it sucks. It's not fun. But, you know, there's an election you have the congressionals every 2, but you got the presidential election every 4 years. And you just write it out. And then you get your guy elected in 4 years. You don't do this. Right? You don't do this. But that's what they do. I got another story I want to share with you. It is a really... it's a sick story, but before I do, I want to tell you about Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. You guys know, you've heard me talk a lot. Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain 7 times, and his laser away pain treatment, there's no drugs, no shots, no injections. It's not only 100% pain-free, you don't even feel it when it's happening. Go see Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain too. If you have a surgery scheduled or you're thinking about a surgery, go see Dr. Appleton first. Before you get that surgery, go and take advantage of his laser away pain treatment. You know, I have never known any... In fact, somebody in my family recently had surgery for pain. I was trying to get them to go to Dr. Appleton, but you know how family are. They got surgery. You know what they're in right now? They're in pain. I have never known anyone who's had surgery for pain that rid them of pain. I've known people my whole life, oh, I got my shoulder operated on, I got my knee surgery, I got my back surgery. And, then you see them. Well, how's that pain in your knee? Well, my second surgery is scheduled for whenever. Your second surgery? Why do you even have the first surgery? Go see Dr. Appleton. We've had listeners travel from all over the United States to see Dr. Appleton. Give him a call and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. Okay, law and order. You know, they get so much liberal crap going on these shows sometimes. Listen to this. NBC, they got a new episode out. This is Law and Order SVU. Which is, I'm not into, that one's too sick. Law and Order SVU portrays ICE agents as the villains protecting rapists. Listen to this new episode, and they got a new season coming. And this is not a good start to their new season when they're on a big publicity run. Listen to this. The season premiere of NBC police drama Law and Order SVU, which is like in its 10,000th season, went hard against immigration and customs enforcement, ICE. Now keep in mind, this episode should not have aired. This aired after the ICE facility was attacked in Dallas, and ICE officers are being attacked all over the place. You know, I was talking to a caller earlier about the left inciting violence. This episode of Law and Order SVU is inciting violence against ICE officers. And this should have been pulled. And networks have not run shows before because I remember David James Elliott. Remember him from JAG? He made a movie about a plane hijacking right before 9/11. The movie was never released, or if it was released many years later. I heard him talk about it on an interview because it was in bad taste to release a movie about a plane hijacking after 9/11. Well, after this attack in Dallas and these other attacks on ICE agents around the country, like in LA and everything, Is it appropriate to have this episode? So here it is. The season premiere of NBC police drama Law & Order SVU went hard against Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, portraying them as the episode's villains who invade ongoing court proceedings. They're seen arresting New York police officers and are accused of protecting rapists. This is in Breitbart, and I did post this on my X, Brian Craig Show on X. The episode titled In the Wind begins with a sexual assault being witnessed by an illegal alien. The illegal agrees to testify against the accused rapist in court. But when the court date nears, the witness is missing. Marissa Hargitay, she's the captain. She goes to his apartment. When she arrives, she finds an ICE action going on, and he's fled the scene to avoid being deported. The prosecutor goes to the judge, accuses the lawyer for the accused of calling the ICE agents to raid the building. As a defense, it goes on and on and on. This is these liberals with their 2 weeks ago tomorrow is when J.D. Vance filled in for Charlie Kirk on his radio show and podcast. And the president and others have talked about this. The president, Marco Rubio, have talked about this since. There's no meeting of the minds with the left anymore. With the words that were used by J.D. Vance, there's no unity with these people. With this violence going on against ICE agents, they do this on Law & Order SVU, and you hear the way they're still talking, still calling us Hitler and everything else, attacking ICE agents, justifying it, still calling them fascist. They're still advocating Governor Newsom and others. Even after what happened in Dallas last week, they're still calling to force them to not wear masks and all of these things. There's no unity with these people. Their minds are so rotted with their Trump derangement syndrome. There's no meeting of the minds on anything with them anymore. And I wish it wasn't that way. It would be nice if we could have some agreement with them. But you know what? We can't. Their minds are too far gone. Now, I want to thank my Patreon supporters for supporting my program. Thank you so much, guys. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, the link is in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're listening on. And Patreon supporters, you have access to commercial-free editions of all the podcast episodes. Okay? Commercial-free. In fact, when this show's over, I'm going to download it, and I'll be editing out all the commercials to upload it to the Patreon supporters. And there's a lot of other exclusive content that Patreon supporters have access to on my Patreon page that both my wife and I post on the Patreon page quite regularly too. And if you're a top Patreon supporter, you get a live on-air thank you shout out on each and every episode. So the names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, and Teresa. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you all so much. So again, if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, the link is in the description of the episode. You click it and it'll explain to you how to become a Patreon supporter, and your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and if you're already subscribed, please like the video and share the program on all your socials too, and invite all your friends to join this great community. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you next time.